78 Sports TV here. So I'm checking out my boy Boxing Beats and Rhymes page.
Doing it from Boxing Beats and Rhymes channel.
This is Tony Thompson, chilling with Boxing Beats and Rhymes. Excellent, you chilling with Boxing Beats and Rhymes. This is that Mayor Hardcore Man store on Boxing Beats and Rhymes YouTube channel.
I don't know if you want to answer. Possible Manny Pacquiao fight with Floyd Mayweather. How you feel about that?
Well, basically, it's a fight that still has a potential.
We start with James J. Corbett. He only had 24 fights. He actually fought Peter Black Prince Jackson, an extremely accomplished black heavyweight of the time, and they fought to a no contest after 61 rounds. They were both boxing. Peter Jackson was a boxing instructor, and Corbett was a boxing instructor at two of the most prestigious athletic clubs. You see, boxing, is that sport. Boxing is that sport. In terms of the color barrier, even though, they had the colored heavyweight championships and it took a little while for a black person to get a shot. Nevertheless, boxing broke color barriers way before any other sport, And you see, Jackson was a boxing instructor at a prestigious athletic club. You didn't really think that black men or black people had positions like that in 1891, And way before that, Bill Richmond, an American heavyweight who campaigned in Britain and fought Tom Cribb, he actually had his own boxing club and was a well-to-do man, a wealthy man of means. So, it's a great sport. It's a great sport. However, on September the 7th, 1892, Corbett won the World Heavyweight Championship by knocking out John L. Sullivan in the 21st round. Corbett's new scientific boxing technique enabled him to dodge Sullivan's rushing attacks and wear him down with jabs. Corbett did not prove to be a fighting champion by today's terms, meaning he defended the title very rarely. This was an era before boxing commissions, and the regulation of the sport was minimal at best. Boxing was outlawed in most states, so arranging a time and a place for a bout was largely a hit-and-miss proposition. Corbett treasured his title and viewed it as an ultimate promotional tool for his two main sources of income: theatrical performances and boxing exhibitions. That's what a lot of fighters used to do then, They just used to take the belt all around the place, I'm the champion, and get it for other gigs, It wasn't like today, or what it was to come soon after. Sullivan took the bare-knuckle era into Queensberry rules. He was the first champion to be crowned a Queensberry rules champion. He didn't defeat no one as a Queensberry rules champion. He had a fearsome reputation, a big puncher inside the ring, and he was not adverse to scrapping inside taverns and pubs and drinking men under the table also. He was the bare-knuckle champion, and when the Queensberry rules came into fruition, he was crowned heavyweight champion of the world via Queensberry rules. He stopped John L. Sullivan in 21 rounds. Just outboxed him, basically. There's no film footage of it. There's been reenactments. And I think, I'm not even sure, I could be wrong. But from what I remember, I think they expected the robust Sullivan to bundle into the relative middle-class aspirations of Corbett and do damage. It wasn't to be. I've got it as an upset. I've got it as an upset win. And Corbett actually helped usher in scientific boxing. Not the first guy to do it, but to bring it on the big stage in the World Heavyweight Championship. So I've got that as the first upset. The fight took place in New Orleans, Louisiana. Primo Carnero, 6'5.5" tall. Big dude. Extremely big at that stage there. The average size man in Italy, where he was from, was 5'5" and approximately 5'7" in the United States at the time. And he was cut up as well, He wasn't just like big blob. Now, we all know about the mob stories, controlled by the mob. A lot of the fights were fixed. One fight that wasn't fixed was the Ernie Schaff. He knocked out Ernie Schaff, who died 4 days later after the bout. Now look at Ernie Schaff's box race. He fought someone on the 2 times of the trot named Unknown Winston. Is that his real name, or is that box wreck filling it in? I can't believe his name's Unknown Winston. Nah, it just can't be. No. Oh my God. In 1931, he lost a unanimous decision to Jack Sharkey. A 15-round fight, convincingly beaten. 2 years later, however, Jack Sharkey was the champion by this time. He won that by outpointing Max Schmeling in a rematch after Schmeling became the first man to win the title via disqualification, lying on the canvas. A low blow is what did that. Sharkey was expected to win handily because no one took Canero seriously, mob controlled, fixed fights, clumsy. It was all there to see. Somehow he produced an uppercut that took down Sharkey and his titles were gone. Hurry up and get a scoop before it's gone. Yep. And that was a massive upset at the time. A lot of people said that Sharkey threw the fight. Who knows? The fight took place at the MSG Bowl, Long Island, Queens, New York, in 1933. Out of 46 sports writers at ringside, 43 had picked Sonny Liston to win by knockout. Ali had not changed his name yet from Cassius Clay at the time, when in Miami Beach, Florida, 1964, when Ali brought a new era in boxing, we had never seen, well, not we, I wasn't about, but there was never nothing seen like it before. Instead of the conventional blocking and slipping, Ali swayed backwards away from punches and moved around the ring more like a ballet dancer than a heavyweight boxer, and got away with it and made Liston look like a novice in there. Liston was cut. As the bell sounded for the 7th round, Liston spat out his mouth guard. It was claimed that his shoulder was injured. My old man always said that Liston threw so many big overhand rights and missed that it took his shoulder out of joint. Yeah, Dad. Like, it could be right. That could well be a plausible reason of why, his shoulder went out, or why they claimed the shoulder injury. Clay, as he was named then, moved to the middle of the ring with his arms raised, doing the Ali shuffle, still processing what he had achieved. He became the heavyweight champion of the world. It was the first time since 1919 that a champion had quit sitting on his stool. Here's the trivia question. Anyone who gets this, man, you'll be high up there in my books of knowledgeable boxing fan in the YTBC. Name the champion, the only other champion before Liston, who succumbed his title and quit sitting on his stool. Name the champion and the fighter who beat him. Muhammad Ali versus George Foreman. Yes, Ali's on the list again. The Rumble in the Jungle took place in 1974 in Kanasha, Zaire, which is now known as the Democratic Republic of the Congo. The characteristics that defined this fight was the crowd screaming, Ali, Ali, Boumaye, Ali, kill him. Foreman was actually cut over his eye, training for the fight in Africa, and they had to postpone the fight till later, so it was delayed out there. It was a massive celebration. They had a big show, concerts. I don't know if there was an undercard on that bill there. I'm not sure. There's not much talked about if there was. James Brown, B.B. King, the Spinners, Bill Withers. It was basically a long festival that went on for a few days. The rope-a-dope, a tactic that Ali is now famed for, where he leant against the ropes and sapped the strength out of Foreman's big blows by riding them and taking a few of them, to be honest with you. And saving his legs, I guess. As Foreman began to tire, we see Ali throw a couple of combinations in the 5th round or 4th, I can remember, and then, in the 8th, Ali pinned on the rope, spinned Foreman around, and then that combination punch went in, and Foreman didn't just fall to the floor, he actually stumbled sort of around the ring And I remember one writer, he said if Ali had threw any more punches after the combination landed, that he would have spot that KO because it's so picturesque and set in stone and it's so highlight reel worthy that if you threw any more punches, it would have spoilt it because it was just perfect. Ali could have hit him again on his way down. You could see Ali just trailing Foreman and just watching Foreman as he stumbled around and then fell to the canvas, you know. Perfect, man, perfect. Although Foreman looked like he misjudged the count, but I think he was done in by that stage. We didn't see George on the deck like that. He was done in. He was disorientated. He punched himself out. He got gamed out of his championship, basically, by the cleverer fighter. Massive upset. Massive upset. Massive. Whole lot of Ali in here, boy. Then we go to Leon Spinks versus Muhammad Ali. One of my earliest memories of boxing, this fight here. One of my earliest. Not the actual fight itself, but I just remember the family talking about the fight, my elder brothers and sisters and my dad talking about the fight, and it was a big event in the home. Leon Spinks, the brother of Michael Spinks, Olympic gold medalist at light heavy in Montreal, 1976, in his 8th professional bout, and he wasn't undefeated. From what I remember, he wasn't undefeated. That's right. On his box rec, he drew with Scott Ledoux. He was a decent fighter at the time. He took on Muhammad Ali in New Orleans, Louisiana. And I just remember that he just kept working. He kept working and wouldn't let Ali rest. The last round is a classic round, absolute classic round. Some people say Ali let him win so he could take back the title in a rematch and become the first man to win it 3 times. Is that true? That's one of them stories. Well, if it was true, he was sure trying to knock him out in that last round there, you know. Spinks won a split decision. The Ring Magazine belt, the WBA, WBC, and he was the undisputed champion. It didn't last for more than 8 or 9 months. He was stripped of the WBC title for refusing to fight Ken Norton. I mean, what did the WBC expect him to do? Fight Ken Norton or fight Ali? Okay, I'll get millions for fighting Ali, and I'll get this for fighting. Come on, man. Ridiculous. Ridiculous. A very short reign, but nevertheless, he did climb to the summit. Massive upset. Massive upset. No 2 ways about it. In the rematch, Ali got back on his toes and comprehensively schooled Spinks. Spinks recently has had to undergo, I think, surgery. But he's having abdominal problems right now, and it's touch and go whether he's going to survive that. Spinks, you know, after he won the title, he partied hard. He partied really hard, and cocaine, I think, you know, that cocaine era in the 80s. I'm going to pitch up another video about that, where me and Chris and Errol chimes in a little. We talk about the 80s. And he basically, I'm not saying he would have beat Ali in a rematch, but if he was fully conditioned and hungry, it would have definitely been a harder fight. Next on the list is Leon's brother Michael. Now, this is just my list. I haven't got this from any website or anything. I just compiled a list myself. So if you disagree with it and think it's some bullshit, what can I do? What can I say? But in 1985, Michael challenged the lineal heavyweight champion of the world, Larry Holmes, for his IBF belt. You know, Holmes had previously got rid of his other trinkets, and the IBF was new, and he helped establish them. And in Las Vegas, Nevada, the Riviera Hotel, Spinks won a unanimous decision against Holmes. I don't think he won the fight, personally. I don't think he won the fight. But nevertheless, a massive upset. In fact, it was the 1985 upset of the year, according to the Ring Magazine. That's what I'm reading here on BoxRec. Yeah, I'm not surprised. It was a massive upset. They did it again in 1986, the Las Vegas Hilton, and he won a split decision. Another terrible decision. 2 bad decisions against Holmes, in my opinion. Holmes just needed to win that first fight with Spinks to level Marciano's record of 49-0. And there's a lot of conspiracy theories behind, you know, the whole story on that. And we'll leave that there for now. But nevertheless, it is what it is, man. It is what it is. It is what it is. It is what it is. It's funny how Spinks isn't remembered for beating Holmes twice and not remembered for his light heavyweight reign. He's actually just remembered for that Tyson fight. And it's quite sad how Mike Spinks' legacy plays out today. Nobody brings up the rest of his career. And despite my opinion, it's a great achievement. It's a great achievement. And he'll always be the second man to come up from light heavyweight and win the full heavyweight title after Bob Fitzsimmons. Before Roy Jones. Big upset. Both bouts. Now, I don't know if it's Tim Witherspoon married to someone of Destiny's Child. I don't see why his name comes up before Tim. The official Tim. That annoys me when that happens, man. It really does. It winds me up. Winds me up. And you press Jack Johnson, you see this other guy come up. He sings or something. Really? You put him on there before? I put them names in and they come up before him. Really? Tim Witherspoon, just a highly skilled heavyweight, you know. In my opinion, anyway. In 1985, he actually outpointed Bone Crusher Smith. A unanimous 12-round decision. I never actually got to see the fight at the time, living in the UK. I see it on YouTube, and you know, he took it to him, man, and was just too clever for Bone Crusher, just too skilled at infighting for Bone Crusher, and he beat him. He beat him convincingly. However, a year or so after that, in the heavyweight unification tournament, Witherspoon defending his WBA heavyweight championship, which he won from Tony TNT Tubbs. I remember seeing that fight on ITV. It was a dire struggle, actually, you know. It was a bit of a struggle, that fight, man. And after taking on Frank Bruno in the UK, he fought James Bone Crusher Smith. Witherspoon's problems with Don King and his son Carl and their dual management promotional dynamic that they had working against Witherspoon became a big factor in the bout. Like, against Frank Bruno, it appears they really stitched him up. And Witherspoon's got a book coming out soon, and I'm definitely buying that book. He's going to talk about the 80s boxing, and I need that book in my life, without a doubt. And Bone Crusher Smith, he even said it himself. He said he knew that he wasn't focused on the fight with all the problems that he had, and he just jumped on it and did what he had to do. First round TKO, 3 knockdowns in the round. Witherspoon didn't look particularly hurt, but he was caught cold and he just couldn't get a footing into the fight, and the 3 knockdown rule, title gone. Massive upset for me. See, this is my list. This might not go down in a lot of you guys' eyes as an upset, but to me it was a massive upset. Massive upset. And Smith later went on to lose that belt to Tyson in the tournament. I think Witherspoon lost a tooth in that fight there. I mean, it was just a bad night all round for him. It looks like he had other things on his mind. No excuse.
Protect yourselves at all times.
Then we go to Tokyo, Japan, the 11th of February 1990. A 42-1 underdog named James Buster Douglas did the unthinkable. He lost! Is what I remember as I brushed my teeth in a bathroom and my sister's boyfriend screamed down the place. I was just numb. I was just like, what is this, man? What is this? What is this, man? There it was, man. There it was. Let's not forget the long count controversy. All 3 belts on the line, man. All 3 belts on the line. Man. 10th round KO, man. 10th round KO. Tyson came out and was just getting hit by these jabs. Couldn't get his feet set. Douglas, his mother recently died. Looked like he was in the zone, so to speak. Well trained, in good condition. Beating Tyson to the punch. He fought fearlessly and skillfully. In the 8th round, Tyson found an uppercut to floor Douglas. Did he get up at 9? Did he get up at 9 3/4? 10 or 11 seconds? Should he have been counted out? Whatever it was, he got back to his feet. The opportunity went. The bell went. Tyson didn't really have no time to follow up. And by the 9th round, it was business as usual. Douglas battering Tyson, really just beating him up, beating up Tyson. He lowered the boom in the 10th. an uppercut swiveled Tyson's head around on them big neck muscles and shoulders, and he followed up, and down went Tyson, and he was counted out. Don King tried to reverse the result, citing that Tyson had knocked down Douglas in the 8th, and the referee, Octavia Moran, I didn't have to look that one up, gave Douglas too long on the canvas. Don was trying to say that Douglas was knocked out, and that's what the result should show. I remember there was a big backlash against Don King trying to do that. A big backlash from the press. And the result stood. Douglas, undisputed heavyweight champion of the world. Wow. That's all I can say on that one, man. That's like crazy, man. Even now, recording it, it's just like, damn. You know, I'm talking the Berlin Wall went down around that time. That was the only topic of conversation in any downtime you had, was Tyson Douglas. Even non-boxing fans. 42-1. Wow. That's massive, bro. Did anyone get a piece of that? Let me know if anyone in the comment section got any of that 42-1 action. Because, man, I don't know. I ain't that good at maths, but I know if you put £100 sterling on that, you're just nice. A right hand to the chin floored Mora. Foreman actually landed a couple of combinations, or one combination beforehand, and you know, he just took Mora out. I couldn't believe it, man. Big George, man. Big George, he did it. Did it and became the oldest man to win the heavyweight title at 45 years of age. He was losing the fight by a landslide. The lineal heavyweight championship was on the line. WBA, IBF belts at stake, and Foreman did it, man. He did it. He did it. In a previous attempt, in his latest comeback, he took on Evander Holyfield and was soundly outpointed, man. Soundly outpointed. And he lost to Tommy Morrison for the vacant WBO title. Soundly outpointed both times, you know. And it just didn't look like it was going to happen for him, despite his comeback being littered with knockouts and one very controversial win against Alex Stewart, which, in my opinion, he didn't win. He managed to turn the trick against Mora, man. 45 years of age. Will that record be beaten? It's hard to see that record being beaten in my lifetime. It's very hard. Foreman is a great conversationist. I hope that's a word. I hope that is a word, because conversate isn't a word, people. Those of you who use that word conversate, it's not actually a word, right? But Foreman, you know, he can talk up a storm, man, and he said that he was deliberately not throwing his hardest punches because he didn't want Mora to get wind of how hard he hit, and he was trying to set him up to expose himself when he unleashed the beast. You know what I mean? I remember Michael Mora hearing that, and he was furious. Mora was saying, stop pretending like you deliberately set out to do that. He was trying to imply that Foreman was lucky. But man, you got knocked out, bro. Bottom line, you got knocked out. You got knocked out, you know. And he just previously beat Holyfield, an all-time best win for him. So he was a massive favourite. He was unbeaten. He was a former cruiserweight champion. One of the greatest sporting achievements of my lifetime, that is. Lennox the Lion Lewis versus Hasim Rahman. This was in South Africa on the 22nd of April 2001. The WBC, IBF, IBO, and lineal heavyweight championship was at stake. Thunder in Africa. Now, Lennox was said to be acting at the time and stuff like that, and they said he didn't concentrate. Yeah. Doesn't matter, yeah? He was chasing down a fight with Mike Tyson, and in that time he took what he thought was a mark time fight with Hasim Rahman. Rahman fought without fear. Lennox was winning the fight, but his rhythm seemed off, his timing seemed a little off, and it wasn't the fluky punch that everybody likes to say it was. I don't believe in lucky punches, period. But he was actually setting up angles for good hooks at Lennox, and a few just missed. I think one may have connected before, you know. I think it was a little high, not near enough on the chin region. And his jab was surprisingly effective, Ruckman. And he was trading wits with Lennox pretty well. He wasn't really getting hit that badly or hurt that badly. He wasn't taking an accumulation of punishment like that. He was losing the fight, but nonetheless, he was fighting a cagey battle. And let's keep in mind, Lennox was a 20-1 favourite to win this. In the 4th round, Lennox boxing behind a jab. He went to the ropes and bounced off, and instead of going to his left, he went to his right and walked right into the line of Ruckman's right hand, and all 3 belts were gone. Big shocker, massive shock. Couldn't believe it myself. Lennox, he seemed confused about what happened. He had a big smile on his face after. Not that he was happy, but he just he didn't get it. He didn't get it. He didn't get it. One of the biggest upsets in heavyweight history. Bottom line, Harry Carpenter, he didn't get Lennox's attitude in wake that he just lost all 3 belts. He couldn't conceive that, Lennox was so nonchalant about losing his belts. But what did he want him to do? He was knocked out, and that was that. It was a KO. It was a KO. I was thinking of putting the Oliver McCall KO in there over Lennox, over this fight with Ruckman. I was thinking of that one, but Lennox didn't establish himself at the time. That was very early in Lennox's reign. Very early. So although it was an upset, Oliver McCall, chief sparring partner for Tyson, Lennox still had a lot of doubters. He was expected to beat McCall. But this one here, Lennox had already beaten Holyfield and drew with him once. He won the lineal title from Briggs. Knocked out Gallotta in a round. Avenged the Oliver McCall loss. Beat Ray Mercer in a fight that Natty Turner has to do on these Throwback Mondays, Beat up Tommy Morrison. Took Michael Grant's O. Looked spectacular against Franz Botha. And he was the champion. He was the champion. Even the draw against Holyfield, shouldn't have been a draw. Shouldn't have been a draw. I think Holyfield might have a case for the second fight, though, believe it or not. But it was a massive upset. It was a massive upset. Lennox put it right in the rematch, knocking out Ruckman just as spectacularly as he himself got knocked out, if not more so spectacularly. I'm stuck. I'm stuck really on this, yeah. I don't know if I should take Lennox Lewis out, the Ruckman-Lewis fight, and put James J. Braddock in there. He beat Max Baer under dire circumstances. The man was on welfare and stuff like that. He was a journeyman. He had bad hands. And he upset Max Baer over 15 rounds. He was working on the docks. His career wasn't really going anywhere. At one stage, his record, was getting bad. 11 wins, 20 losses, and 2 draws. And he started off with 42 wins, 2 losses. He was the perennial journeyman at this stage. They say Max Baer hardly trained for the bout. Braddock, on the other hand, was training like a mad person. Braddock was handpicked by Baer's handlers because it was seen as an easy payday. On June the 13th, 1935, Braddock won the heavyweight title as the 10-1 underdog in one of the most stunning upsets in boxing history. Baer was a big puncher in his prime, 26 years of age. Braddock was 30 years of age, but old 30. Let's keep that real. I remember seeing highlights of the fight, not the whole fight, and Baer was clowning around a lot, and Braddock was, just sticking to his boxing, some blue-collar shit. He needed this win. He wasn't there to mess about. And Baer had a reputation of being a playboy and clowning around, I think was his nickname the Clown Prince, I can't remember, or the Crown Prince or something like that. Braddock lost the title in his first defense against Joe Louis. I was going to say Lennox Lewis, by a stunning knockout. Nevertheless, massive upset, big enough upset that Russell Crowe starred in a film called The Cinderella Man, which you guys need to see. It's a really good film. And there you go. I don't know which one to drop out of them two. I'll take you guys' advice in the comment section. Probably if I get a majority for Braddock, I'll keep it. If I get a majority for Lennox, I'll keep that. Jersey Joe Walcott was on the short list, honourable mention for knocking out Ezra Charles with a tremendous left hook come uppercut to win the title at 37 and become the oldest man to do it at the time, having previously lost a 15-rounder in a title attempt to Charles shortly before that. Didn't quite get on the list, but it could have done. It could have done. It's an honourable mention. There you go. There you go. Peace out.